Hi there. This is probably the last video I'm making while I'm in this place. So this past year, ever since I made this channel, so that was around 2023, still last year, around, oh no, not last year. I made this channel around 2022. So technically this channel has been, what, almost 2 years now. However, I only began seriously uploading videos like last year of 2023. So technically that was my actual starting point. I just made this channel and uploaded some videos, just trying to test out the waters 2 years ago. But didn't come to like take it seriously or at least, put in a bit of more effort up until around last year. And I promised myself, okay, if this takes off in a year, I'll stick to doing this. Just, work at a job while working on my YouTube channel and, working on my comics and my art, basically. Create like an art business, essentially speaking. And that didn't really turn out profitable. I was successful in doing it, in actually making it. Like, I have a comic, I have a YouTube channel, but it's not something I can live off of. It's like I got what I wanted, but it's not sustainable. On one hand, I'm glad I did this. On the other, I have to like face the reality that I have to do something else to sustain myself. Because this is the this is the real world. You have to work a job, open a business or whatever you do, you create a product or you provide a service, whatever it is, to create money in order to afford a home, afford food, clothes, and whatever necessities there may be to live your life. And that's just the reality that not it's not a reality I've come to ignore. It's a reality that is getting more real because I know this. Like a long time ago, 2017, when I was 17 to 18 years old, I knew about this. That this was the reality. That you have to work, basically. And I'm not wrong. It is the reality, and at first I was kind of disappointed, but I realized that's just life. So what's the point of this video? Well, one one of the points of this video is that this will be my last video in this room. Well, this is my bedroom basically, and I just you know spruced it up with my my artwork. And there's like a lot of stuff here as well, but I just didn't think they were relevant. However, you know what? I'm gonna do a little room tour at the end of this, but I just wanna say my words as, the last video where I'm here. I'm gonna keep making videos. I'm gonna keep working on the channel. I'm gonna still keep working on art and everything. Not just the miniatures, but the paintings, the comics. Yeah, I'm still gonna be doing those because what is the point of life if I'm not doing those? While I'm still able to create art, what is the point of life if I'm not doing them? If I'm not making them? That's just me. Now that's just what I see as kind of like my purpose of sorts. It gives meaning to my life basically. And that's just me. Yours might differ, and hey, we are all entitled to our own way of living, so long as it actually works. Now this is more of a ranty video because hey, it's my last video in this room basically, so I might as well do what I want. I find it oddly anxiety inducing that this will be the last. I'm looking around my room because this is the last day I'm gonna be here. And after this, I'm gonna be in some washed up apartment studying in school. Because I'm going back to school. The job that I was working at, it was not sustainable. Like, the job you get after college, depending on the course you take, is gonna determine the viability of the work you can do for a living. So in my case, even though the course I took was in the medical field, it is very highly needed because the work I studied for and I did for 6 months or so was very critical. Like, we were we were understaffed. Not just the hospital I worked in, but everywhere, all the laboratories, there were only very few of these workers, and we were very needed. However, at the same time, we were also very undervalued. I don't know what it is about the the medical field here in the Philippines, but we have like a lot of things we need. We need more nurses, we need more med techs, we need more of this and that, but at the same time, they're also paid terribly. The economy is pretty terrible. And so we are, we are in demand, but we are also undervalued, which is just insane. Now, I can take a test to go abroad, but looking at what's happening abroad, do I really want to go abroad? Do you really want to go to America out of all places? I've seen the things that are happening there. I don't know, it's scary. I don't think I might even survive a year in America. It doesn't matter what race you are or what people think race you are. Everyone's getting. As bad things are happening outside, bad things are happening inside my country as well. The only difference between being in my country and being outside my country is that at least I'm more familiar with what I have here, so I can like worm my way through it. But still, everything is a double-edged sword. And yeah. And actually, to be fair, when I'm gonna go to, med school, which is what I'm going through right now, if I fail this, I'll be taking a test to go abroad because if I can't get a job as a doctor, I can't really support the people I need to support, let alone myself. So I'm gonna go abroad if that doesn't pan out. And for the meantime, I'm still gonna be making videos. I'm still gonna be doing the comics. Well, the comic technically, I actually finished making it. It's just not finished uploading. Around September 9 to 13 will be the last few bits of uploads. Yeah. And it'll be finished. Finally. And you know what? I'm not gonna be talking about the doom and gloom of going back to school to pursue a master's and whatnot. I think it's best that I look back on what I actually finished and the things I'm like halfway done. Because progress, though it's not something finished, it is something on the way to being finished. But I think I want to first talk about the thing I finished. The one thing I confidently finished was the comic. The comic is done. At least, yeah, in my part. But for the viewer, the people who are watching online, it's not yet done uploading because I kind of scheduled them ahead of time, and I realized when I finished making all the pages, oh, the the last schedule is around this time. So, yeah, I'm 4 steps ahead, unfortunately, but still, at least in my own evidence, I finished this one thing that had been haunting me for almost a decade now. And I only started working on it seriously 3 years ago. And now it's done. And I can like continue on with my life knowing that I finished what I started. And I'm gonna make a video on that once the final few pages have been uploaded. Secondly, my other unfinished projects. So, apart from making my art and comics, so basically my illustrations and comics, I also make hobby electronics and cosplaying, which I want to combine cosplaying and electronics in the future to create some kind of power armor. That was the main goal. And when I was a kid, let me tell you this story. I used to watch robots, and then it evolved into mechs, like mechanical suits like Gundam, for example. And then it evolved into things like power armor like Iron Man. And that got me interested into doing cosplay because, the next best thing to an actual suit of armor that can be powered by electronics is, a pretend armor, like made of cardboard or something. And that's what I did. I am making a cardboard Iron Man armor because of that when I was a kid. I'm just basically finishing what I started as a kid. And at first I was kind of confused. Why didn't I do this before? Why was I not pursuing these things while I was in senior high school and college? Why was I not doing these? I could have just finished them there. But I realized my life is not as simple and empty as I thought. Again, the comics, the art, that included with the bunch of other stuff, it kind of, created a mess of my life. But the more critical thing was that I didn't have the skills yet. When I was in my second year of college, I could barely make a helmet out of cardboard. And today, I can make as many cardboard helmets as I can. Like I know the format, I know the templates, I know the process, the procedure, how to paint, how to create those things. Be it mechanical, be it like fantasy, or be it even like an animal like a dragon. And so I learned those skills over time, and it's just, it's accumulating over time, but it's just not there yet. And I just need to be patient and work on it slowly but surely. As for my electronics, I wanted to. The thing that I was so enamored by electronics was just something working. Like being able to transmit power wirelessly through the power of electromagnetism basically was the first thing that enamored me in electronics. And from there it kind of evolved again. It kind of like went from doing the jewel thief to the pancake coils, transmitting wireless electricity, transmitting wireless power, and lighting up an LED on the other side of the coil. Yeah. And then it went to Tesla coils. And eventually I studied a bunch of, what do you call this? A bunch of chips of integrated circuits, ICs basically. And it was the NE555, the CD4017, and the LM3915. Those were the three integrated circuits that caught my attention. And I realized I could combine them into creating an audio spectrum analyzer because I was also into audio amplification, but just, electrical signal amplification in general. I wanted to amplify signals the way, I was first introduced to amplifying power. So signals, power, ICs, and then eventually, of course, I had to learn op amps to create bandpass filters in order to make the audio spectrum analyzer work. And in 2020, I rigged up an audio spectrum analyzer and it worked. The flow of everything, the switching of the transistors, all of the integrated circuits that I used went harmoniously and created an actual working audio spectrum analyzer. And for 3 years since then, I was unable to replicate it because, I had to go away for school, and I kind of the knowledge of electronics kind of faded unless I practiced on it, unless I was writing circuits. I didn't necessarily need to like solder them, but writing down the circuits was like, I needed that. Because when I tried to replicate the audio spectrum analyzer last year in 2023, it failed. And because of the janky build of my first audio spectrum analyzer, it kind of broke as well. But thankfully, in my second build, the filter array, the bandpass filter array, was working. So I just replaced that with the first one, and hey, it works the same, only that the the visual bandpasses are like flipped and inverted. So instead of the first five, you could see from 1 to 10, it's now 10 to 1. It's kind of reversed, but it works nonetheless. So nothing was truly wrong. It was just that I kind of forgot how things work. I was creating mistakes here and there. So what I did after that, this year, 2024, the first half of 2024, basically, I created modular components. I wasn't putting everything in one board, but I creating small boards for small things. And each component was modular, so that if I do ever forget, and not be able to study electronics for a while, when I do come back to it, I don't have to mess up again, because the thing has already been built, and all I need to do is like put in the power and put in the inputs. Simple as that. I'm basically preparing for my own for my own mistakes. That's what I'm doing with electronics. And thankfully, the big things that are happening right now, the major components are working. I have an amplifier, I have a counter, and I have the LED drivers working. Basically, those ICs that I mentioned in the first place, they were all working harmoniously. I just need to create the switches, the filters again. And the thing with the filters is that I realized in my old, because when I recreated the filters, they still like created the same mistake. And that's when I realized the first five filters, like filters 1 to 5, the bandpass were pretty close. It was like 30 hertz, 60 hertz, 125, 250, 500. Those things. So they were pretty close. But then the next five was like 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, 16,000. Those kinds of numbers. What I realized about those is that they share the same bandwidth. So for the first five, the bandwidth were pretty small, and it worked. It still worked because they were not that far from each other, and the bandwidth complemented it very well. Unfortunately, what I now realize, I know I sound very stupid, is that the last five bands also have that same bandwidth. So the reason why the last five bands in my in my audio spectrum analyzer were, seemingly not working when I would play music, but when I would like test them for like specific signals, like for example let's say the 8,000 kilohertz bandpass. If I play an 8,000, sorry, not kilohertz, an 8,000 hertz bandpass. If I play an 8,000 hertz audio file, it lights up. That's great. The problem is its bandwidth is so small from the 16K to the 4K that anywhere somewhere between that, nothing lights up. That's why it's as if nothing's happening there. And yeah, I realized I need to change the formula, or at least the components of those next bands. So yeah. Sorry if I'm ranting, this is unrelatable, but hey, this is my last video. Yeah. Now yeah, those are my problems basically. So, what now? Well, what I'm gonna be doing now is I will be working things on a theoretical level on the things I can't do physically. So, for example, the Iron Man cosplay or my electronics projects, I can only do like circuits, designs, and notes I can do for later when I do come back. As for my art and comics, technically I finished them, but you know, I have future projects for that. So that is technically my true focus, my true craft, which is my comics and my art. Right now, my next plan after the comics is the world building. I'm gonna create like basically lore, lore for the world of Imaginus Vectus, and it's not gonna be super intricate. Just a brief background, and it's kind of like vague lore. It's not super deep, but it's something you think about. You just imagine what could be in between the spaces of unexplored history. But I just wanted to give a solid background and foundation for the world, and then I'm gonna proceed to the main story. Yeah, that is the plan. Yeah, you're gonna be seeing a lot of stuff here, maybe in the next couple of years, assuming I'm gonna be still alive by then. And yeah, that's that. I still have a lot of things I want to do. You know, all of this. This is just the beginning. I want to do more stuff. It's just that reality strikes, and money is real as well. And not just that, my own responsibilities as an adult, that is also real. And yeah, but I can juggle all that. I've lived this long, I've experienced this amount of experience. I can juggle all that. I can do my art, I can do my comics. Well, my art is part of my comics, so my illustrations and comics, they're my art, my component of art. And then my electronics, my cosplay, technically those two are gonna be one day combined. Once I finish these specific projects, the Iron Man armor and the audio spectrum analyzer in specific, they're gonna get merged. Because I want to create like mechanical stuff, elec- electronics and mechanical. Again, I want to make power armor, a suit of armor, or at least work towards that. Maybe in the future my interests are gonna change. So the only thing I'm ever gonna be sure of doing is working towards my goals. I did like jot uh what do you call this? A week ago, I jot down like a master plan for what I'm gonna do in the next 3 to 5 years. I don't know, something just cracked in my brain that day, and I made that master plan. And it's in my laptop. It's in like a Word file. I wasn't using, those things like Notion or whatever. I was just a plain old Microsoft Word file. Yeah. I think that's about it for my ranting. Yeah, it's my last video, and oh, sorry, my last video in this place. Again, I'm still gonna be making videos nonetheless. But yeah, well, I guess it's time for the room tour. Yeah, yeah. It's been awfully quiet. The dogs are not barking that much. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise. So yeah, those are my unfinished projects and the things I finished and the things I started. I think that's more important than my unfinished stuff. Because I started this YouTube channel, I started and finished my comic, which is, not yet finished uploading, so it's 99.9% done. Done, yeah. And I have to like manually upload on Global Comics because they don't have that thing where you could schedule an upload for pages. I think in Global Comics, you can schedule and upload an issue or chapter, but not individual pages. So that's something I still have to like do with, but that's fine. I can handle that. And yeah, I started stuff and I'm still working on stuff. And I think the fact that I'm still working on stuff kind of gives me purpose in life. If everything was just handed down to me, I got power armor, I got a finished comic, or I got finished this and that, I got my art given to me, handed over to me by someone, my life wouldn't be fulfilling unless I built that thing. You know, I want to learn to create and not just to be handed down stuff. And it's the same thing with money. I want to learn to create money. But I don't know. Oh wait, not I don't know. It's not that I don't know how to make money, it's just that it's difficult to make money. It's always been difficult. It's easy for the people who've already succeeded because they know the steps, they know the experience. But as for me, who has only ever worked a job and has done like a couple commissions in his own lifetime, because I did make commissions with my art, but just a couple of them. Really did not I did not fully enjoy it because I was just going to be giving it away to someone else. It wasn't mine. But it was more of a service. Maybe commissions is not for me. But anyways, that's just life. And this is just life. I think that's all I'm going to have to say. You might find me, you might catch me in this video if you are watching for some reason, looking around my room. It's a mess, but it's my mess. It's a bunch of stuff. Well, actually, some stuff are already packed. Like, even my miniatures from behind me are gone now because I packed them up. And yeah, that's just life. Well, without further ado, the room tour. So, this is the room tour. I hope you could hear me well. And the first thing I want to show you is the desk. This is my desk, and this is the thing I've been sitting on this entire time. It's not even a chair, it's a chair with a box on top, because if I sit on the chair only, you can't see my... It's an awkward angle, basically. Like, you could only see me from the chin down, from the chin up. So it's an awkward thing. But yeah, this is my desk. We have the audio spectrum analyzer I've been babbling about in this video, and I made the notes to the things that are wrong with it. This is my old cardboard knight that I placed here because I didn't know where else to place him while packing. There were supposed to be miniatures here. You could have seen them, but I already packed them because I'm leaving. Unfortunately. Although you must have seen them in some videos. I did make some videos about them. This here is a thing I glued onto my desk. This is a frame. I don't know why I glued it, but hey, that's just life. This is an artwork of a person I found at an art convention. Basically, it was called... Well, it was a city... it was like a city artist alley, basically. His name, I forgot his name, but he's a very great artist. As you can see here, like, realistic. You've got the muscles. It's let's just say most of his artwork, like fan art, is very explicit. Let's just say that. But, he was a professional, he worked at Marvel and everything. And yeah, I framed, well, I didn't frame it, I made a frame of it and put it in my desk. So, back to this guy. This is my second cardboard Imperial Knight, but it looks so much better than the first one. It's like this. I don't know why I put so much effort into this to make it as accurate as possible. This is my broken clock, it will be eternally 322 forever. These are a bunch of my books. That's not even all of my books, but yeah, I read at least most of them, but not all of them. And of course, the big thing that's been behind me are these paintings. Now, first, I want to go through these three. There's actually four of them, but putting four of these here was just, it didn't look great, so I just made three. And I chose the best out of the three studies I painted all the way back in 2019. So these are trees from my school, my old school, specifically Silliman University. And I don't know if there are actually Suleimanians who who watch this, but yeah, these are my tree studies of that school. This one was near the chemistry department, from what I remember. It's just at least walking away from the chemistry department. This one was like near the arts department. This one was near my dorm, although I think it was during the pandemic. I'm not sure if it's during the pandemic or before that. This tree was struck down. So this tree is no longer there, unfortunately. Or I might be mistaken, but a tree was struck down there and this was no more. So yeah, those are my trees and their stories. And this guy is like a big painting I made, again in watercolor like these guys. He's supposed to be like the future version of the protagonist of my comic. And it's very messy. You've got different colored metals everywhere. I think honestly I should just remove the the armor on his arms so that it will blend well with the copper sword and his brown gambeson arms. I think that's what I'm gonna do with his new design. Just simplify him to make him more elegant. Yeah. And yeah, I made him just to give my I made him just to give myself a boost because he's right there in my bed. This is my bed. It's like it's again, I'm packing stuff. You can see the rest of my things that I packed. This is the rest of the Iron Man armor that it's not yet painted and it's not yet fully fortified, unfortunately. But yeah, this is my bed, and every time I wake up, I will see this guy. And he has encouraged me to do stuff, to finish the comic specifically, and other daily practices and habits that are supposed to be healthy for me. Which brings me to, sorry, there's like tissues there because if you notice, I'm kind of sick. Not because I'm actually sick, but because of the dust. Because I've been cleaning up this place. Oh man. I have these guys, these dumbbells. They're now extremely rusted. But I would every day I'd wake up to him. And then do my exercises in the morning here. And and after that I wash up and everything. Here, this is I think the chest of the Iron Man cosplay I'm making. I painted it. I didn't see these things yet, but I'm just gonna cover them up when I get back with a thicker coat of paint or maybe sand them down. I'm glad I painted this right now because otherwise I wouldn't have noticed these. They were kind of invisible when this was still unpainted. So yeah. Yeah, working on that. At least the good thing about the Iron Man cosplay or the Iron Man armor is that I actually started working on it. I don't have to worry about how do I shape the arms or how do I shape this or that or glue this or that. All I need to do right now is to fortify the areas that look a bit wobbly and then paint it and then sand it if it's too rough or are there like blemishes like these. These are past past tape that I had to stick in order to trace the shape on the cardboard, so they kind of revealed themselves after I painted them. So at least I did that and created some corrections. Now, here's the helmet in specific. Yeah, that's the helmet. It's a very, very blocky because I used very thick cardboard to make it. So there weren't great bends, but that's fine. It's a bit dirty as well, but I'm just gonna cover that up with scratch marks and battle damage. Yeah. Yeah, this... Well, this isn't a tripod. This is actually a stand for a canvas when painting. That's how I painted there. And that's how I record videos. Here on the here on the other side of the desk, sorry, the other side of the room is actually where I do my stuff, where I do my work. I put my laptop here. Or if I'm inking or drawing the comics, this is where I put my stuff. Like, I put things here and I work on it. And those are the rest of my notebooks and books. I got some comics over there. My notebooks over here. These are mostly notebooks. There's some books and comics. But yeah. That's just some other stuff. Yeah, it's a bit messy right now. Again, I'm packing. And another thing is that this is a 2-bedroom room. So yeah. I'm midway through packing. And yeah. Oh yeah, before I forget. And before I forget, my helmets. These are the helmets I talked about. Yeah, the first successful one I made was this guy, which is a Dead Space helmet. The great thing about this is that I could actually wear the faceplate and the helmet. The problem is it's super big and very hard to move in. So this was not great when I tried to make a full set of armor for this guy. That's the little gun. So came my third helmet. Oh, sorry. The second successful one. This one, as you can see, the faceplate is a little less elongated, which made it easier to bob my head up and down, look left and right without hitting anything. So yeah, that's great. And this is my cardboard helmet of the Daedric Face of Terror from Morrowind. And it's my shot at doing some fantasy armor. It was supposed to be darker, but you know, as the years go by, this was made in 2020 specifically, and you know, it still holds up, but the paint has paled in comparison. And this is my most latest helmet, which is this Dragonborn helmet I made for D&D. And my god, is it very big, but at the same time, I can wear it comfortably. This was my shot at making like a scaly animal head. Yeah, because the first race I played when I got the chance to play D&D was a Dragonborn. And this here is the Mushroom Garden. Or at least there was a Mushroom Garden here before we exterminated them. Because somewhere around that roof there was a leak and mushrooms began growing. And so we destroyed them, isolated them, and hopefully nothing's there anymore. And in lieu of that, we have this filter here. It's a filter to get, I don't know, to help with the spores and everything, but I'm not entirely sure. And this is the electric fan because our air conditioner doesn't work anymore. And if you notice in my videos when I do like my headshots, I am sweating all the time because if I turn this on, you will not be able to hear me because it will like cloud the microphone with so much noise that it doesn't sound great. And so to even make some kind of presentable sound, I had to I had to turn that off. and sweat. But hey, it's all for the love of the craft. And here, yeah, honestly, if you just look at my room here, it looks pretty clean. Not gonna lie, this area in specific looks very clean. And unfortunately, this is gonna be the last time I see it like this. At least for now, because maybe when I do get back, they're gonna change this room because of all of the electrical malfunctions, all of the things happening in the closet. Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna take a good look at this and appreciate it while I'm still here in these last few moments. And for anyone still watching, even me, I'm talking to you, future me. Thank you, and I hope to see you again next time. Although unfortunately not here anymore, but home is where the heart is. So wherever I am, that's home. And yeah, this was a I'm not sure if this is called a good run in terms of YouTube standards, but hey, I tried doing something. It didn't pan out. I did a lot of mistakes, and it's great that I now notice a lot of the mistakes because when I do this again, I'll make lesser mistakes. I'm not gonna make it perfect. It's never gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be a little bit better. And yeah, that's about it. Until then, see you.